This must surely be the only other serious contender for the title of Ultimate 911. It is the 911 GT1, a car that was designed to take Porsche back into the winner's circle at Le Mans during the 90s. The expensive Group C class of sports car racing had foundered in the early 90s when worldwide recession trimmed racing budgets back to the bone. GT racing for cars based on production road models seemed to be the way forward, and Porsche initially supported the class with a high-powered version of the Carrera Turbo. Then, Gordon Murray of McLaren moved the GT goalposts with the superb F1, a car that, however expensive it might have been, clearly fulfilled both the spirit and the letter of the GT regulations. There was no way that the 911 Turbo could compete with the McLaren F1. Something more was needed. That something was the GT1. Careful study of the GT regulations and an in-depth appraisal of the 911's basic specification confirmed the Porsche competition department's feeling that a Super 911 could be built, and that it could be a match for the McLaren. And when the car was first rolled out of the styling department's studios, everyone agreed. A super rigid roll cage assembly was built into the standard 911 body shell, thus fulfilling the rules that GT racing cars had to be based upon a production unit and had to pass a high-speed crash test. The engine was a 3.2-litre water-cooled six-cylinder in the familiar 911 boxer configuration with horizontally opposed cylinder blocks. It used twin turbochargers with intercoolers for each individual turbo unit and featured 4 valves per cylinder. The electronic engine management system came from Technique d'Avant-Garde. This was the group that worked with Porsche on the World Championship winning TAG Porsche engine for the McLaren Formula One team. It was somewhat ironic that the group that had won Grand Prix world titles for McLaren was now dedicated to beating them at Le Mans. Early tests on the factory test track in 1996 showed that the GT1 performed as well as it looked, and the competition department moved down to Paul Ricard in France for further shakedown tests. As the long, low GT racer was wheeled back out of the garage, it was still possible to see its connection with the standard 911, but only after very close inspection of the center section and the roofline. After some very wet initial sessions, Hans Stuck pronounced himself well pleased with the new car.
The car is very forgiving, especially today in the wet conditions. You reach the limit very early. I came sideways in a water pedal today and I just had to make one correction. I was right there. So the car encouraged the driver to try more, to try harder. And I think for the first time out it's a very good and important feeling to get the confidence.
After running a full 24-hour test at Paul Ricard, the team headed back north full of confidence for a good performance at Le Mans. In fact, they had to wait 3 years before the GT1 scored the victory its creators had forecast. A Porsche did win at Le Mans in 1996 and again in 1997, but on each occasion it was an open WSC 95. These cars had originally been designed for a new IMSA class in America. Now they were eligible for Le Mans in the prototype category, and the private Yost team took their car to victory 2 years in succession.